Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, once again for joining us for another episode of Digital Soul Presents. Once again, I am honored and proud to have this brother on. He's a cool brother, and very multi-talented and a multi-platinum DJ, producer, engineer, film writer, just an entrepreneur, and I'm very, very honored to have him on so we can talk and chop it up a little bit about his career, his past project, his current project, and where he's been, what he's currently doing now. Welcome aboard, Chris the Glove Taylor in the house. What's going on, Brother Glove?
Man, I'm just here, bro, just in the studio as usual. What's up with you?
The same, man, working on material, so I'm right with you, man, in the lab, constantly ideas flowing, so I know how it is. Yeah, man, so I'm very, very honored to have you on, and I wanted to just point out, man, usually in cases like this, I have to do a little bit of research, just kind of get some background on, a couple of the guests that I had on already, and when I asked for you and you agreed, I said, well, let me, just make sure I'm on point. So, went and did a little bit of research, and looking at your resume, that's when I realized I've been supporting this brother my entire life. No, seriously. And me and you, we met a couple of years ago, and we had a chance to chop it up. And I had a chance to tell you, I believe as an artist and producer, to give others their flowers while they're here, and I had a chance to do that when we met a couple of years ago. But yeah. I realized that I actually had Reckless on tape, as a child. I actually had that tape. I actually bought Poe Broken Lonely. I actually bought The Chronic. It was like all the things that led up to here is like, wait a minute, I've been touching everything he's done basically all my entire life.
You've been feeling it like, I'm gonna buy this.
from the very beginning, man. So that's why it's a very, very special episode for me personally, because you're one of my heroes, I must say. So thank you for being
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning, man. I know you basically got your start as a DJ, but little Chris in the hood. What was the beginnings of Chris? As far as like the music, that drove him in the beginning, or DJing. What led up to that process?
Wow. So when I was growing up, little Chris in the hood, they played I heard a lot of Saturday at the Park type music. You know what I mean? Everything was KF 101 and Kiss FM type, kind of off rockish, all of pop music. I guess that's what that was. And it dominated all of the radios. But there was two stations. My dad listened to KGFJ and KDAY. And they played soul music. That's where I first heard like the Barcades or even James Brown, come think of it. But the real thing, I like all kind of music. Like as a 9-year-old, I went to go be in the Mitchell Boys Choir, which is like the Vienna Boys Choir, but in the United States. So I tried out and I sang Moon River. You know what I mean? Like, shit, I still know that song by heart. And I was a soprano. So, yeah, that shit was, but my voice was changing. So that's why I didn't get it, because it was getting deeper. I didn't realize that at the time. I just thought I was fucked up. But that was a disastrous night for me, bro. That was like my first time ever failing at something. Not getting something, rather, based upon my merit.
Wow.
I mean, it didn't stop me or nothing, but it was fucked up. I was sad. I wanted to go sing with them kids. They were going to like Europe to sing. So then I listened to all kind of music at that age, and I'm going up. But I got into our music, the soul music kind of thing, uh, kind of by like, I guess, pretty much everybody learns about music in school, I think.
Yeah.
Because I talk to my daughter, she's in high school. I hit her up, what's hot? She'll send me 3 records. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
in high school. I remember junior high school, same thing. You knew the records for the high schoolers almost.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, but then being a DJ, I was always ahead of them. Like, I'm the one who they heard the record from to decide if it was high. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So because of that, when my musical ear was so weird and everywhere, it became easy once I wanted to create. Like, man, when I learned how to play the organ and piano, I started to write songs. Like, I was writing my own songs, chords and stuff. Like, this is easy, you know? But that was pretty much me at early life. Then I learned the organ at about 12. And from there, I played to high school and played the Rhodes in the high school band, which is kind of odd, but that's what I did. Not a jazz band. I was in the marching band. So from there, I didn't even plan on being in music. I wanted to be a rocket scientist. I wanted to design a space shuttle. So I was in college for aeronautical engineering, and I went to Cal State Northridge, and the fucking space shuttle took off. Broke my heart.
Oh man.
I was like, shit, can't do that.
So was there a particular incident or a particular person that kind of inspired you to start DJing? Like, what direction did that take?
So after college, the college experiment, I was over here walking down my street, La Cienega, and I just was like, God, I want to do something that I could be the best at. And he said, DJ. And I was like, okay, excuse me, God, what is that? Like, what do you mean, DJ? Like on the radio? I'm asking God. I talk to God, so I'm talking to myself. Like, what do you mean, DJ? Like on the radio? I don't want to be. Hey, welcome to K Earth 101. No, that's not me. So, this is at this time. I'm 17, right? So all that shit happened. I'm 17. 9, I get smashed, and then 17, I was this. Like a weaker man might have committed suicide. But anyway, so I said, well, whatever, DJ. I didn't have any. When I came up with that, I had nobody to use as a model anywhere.
Wow.
I had never even heard of, it was 79. So I hadn't even heard of Grandmaster Flash yet.
Wow.
I was 17. The record was out. I knew Rapper's Delight, but I hadn't heard of Grandmaster. I knew Sugar Hill Gang, but I didn't know nothing about the music. I thought it was that group Chic, blah, blah, blah. So when I went from there to actually creating and hearing music, I went from that to I'm trying to figure out the DJ thing. So I go to school for broadcasting at Santa Monica College. So Santa Monica College, they have a radio station. So I learned that I used to only know that there was a big ass stereo like in my mom's furniture with everything in it and all the records and all that made out of oak.
Yeah.
And then there was a component set that had an 8-track player.
I remember those.
Remember those? And then there was, that's all I kind of knew. And then in the radio station, I learned they had these platters that bolted into the radio station. They were mounted in there. So I'm going to Radio Shack. I'm trying to figure out, they got a record player. I'm trying to figure this shit out. And I'm working at Burger King. So my boy's working at Burger King. He's like, man, why you always Radio Shack's across the street? Why you always coming from Radio Shack, bro? Because I'm trying to be a DJ and I don't know what the equipment is or whatever. He's like, oh, I'm a DJ. I was like, really? He said, yeah, come over to my house after work. So I go over to his house. This guy pulls out the component set. And I'm like, okay, I know about that. Then he takes out a turntable. It's a Technics SLB1. I swear I heard music like, oh. He sat it down. It was light too, because it's belt drive. So it was like $150 too. And then he put out a mixer. And I was familiar with the mixers, but all the mixers I ever seen had knobs. This one had crossfaders. I was like, oh. It was like some drums hit with that. It was like, oh, like, whoa. So that was my first understanding of the setup, right? So I had the setup. Boom, I know what to get. And then he made me a mixtape, and I watched him work, and he was blending and making the songs do things and tricks and repeating parts. And I'm like, damn. And the one thing didn't have no pitch. It was a record player. The other one had pitch. So he was making it work. He would put the record on here that he would mix into it from this one. I was like, this dude. His name was Tony Joseph. He became the first DJ on FM here with a mix show in LA, the 92.3. No, The Beat, the Saturday Night Jam, Tony Joseph, Michael Mixon Moore. That was Tony Joseph. He taught me that. I watched it.
Yeah.
So then I go call my dad. I got a student loan for $2,500. So I tell my dad, hey, Dad, can I get some equipment? I don't want to get books, and I need to get this equipment with the student loan. So you can do whatever you want to with that, because kids are buying cars and shit, whatever. So I took that thing. My dad went to Federated. I got 2 SLB1 Technics turntables, a mixer, a GLI or a Gemini. I think it was a GLI mixer, amp, and some speakers.
You got the good shit right out the box.
Out the box. Boom. I set it up on the table. Was trying to figure out how to do what Tony did. So then, after that, I didn't know still about scratching, but now I go get a record, Grandmaster Flash on the Wheels of Steel. So I'm listening to this record going, what the fuck? Good. What is he doing? Like, there's no samplers, there's no triggering devices. You know, I'm not growing up in the age of computers. It's 2 turntables and a microphone. That's it. So I get this record and I start to learn how to do those moves. So I figure out the good and the flashing and the other stuff. But I still didn't know the wooga wooga, the scratch, until, lo and behold, I'm playing music. My mom calls me, I don't hear her. She yells out in that shrieking voice that makes you think you're gonna get a whooping. And I stopped the record and it went whoop. And I was like, whoop. It says whoop whoop. I said, oh,
ding 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 ding.
I think I got my ass whooped because I didn't go see what my mom wanted. I just kept scratching. I was scratching everything. And then I started trying to do the scratches. So then a song called Rocket came out. And that had Grand Mixer DST. So that helped me with my flavor. Like, I took his scratch and so I could do the fresh with the So I said, okay, let me fuck with this shit, because Grandmaster Flash was like traditional Wing Chun. He was rigid, like jigga 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 jigga, flash 1 time, and flash 2 times, and like, he's rigid. Grand Mixer DST is, you know, he's fly. I'm like, oh, I can play this shit like a percussive instrument. So now I'm off. I think this is 1980. So from there, I'm doing house parties and DJing and all that shit, but I'm scratching now like crazy. I use it as, you know, and I slam records together. I don't blend them because I can, but it's easy to just, the adrenaline is different when you just drive a record home and they go, hey, every time. So I'll take the A over the people hear it when they finally hear it after it's melted in and the other one melted away. It ain't no excitement there. It's like you just smooth like a freeway.
Man, what were some of the hot records that were out at the time that you can remember that used to really rock the party?
Heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
Genius of Love. I used to play this record by this song Situation by a group called Yazoo. I had a break in it. I used to rock that shit. It was like, the whole song was goofy, but then it would break down to, it had some breathing in it too, like what we was doing, like, So I would cut that shit and play it for like 2 minutes. People would just be dancing. They thought it was the record. I might cut in another part. I did that a lot with records. Like, so I was a Billboard reporter. That means that I was a DJ who I would turn in my playlist to Billboard, and there was only 2 in each city. So we were quite powerful. Every record label want to fuck with you because you can get their record on the chart. So we I would get so many records that I couldn't really tell you the first record I bought in my life. You know, I mean, I was getting records like 1,000 records a week. Wow. It was ridiculous, bro. 12-inch albums, 2-3 copies. I was like, stores like Prime Cuts, we kept them in business. We sold them to white labels and the promotional copies. Those came from guys like me and Billy. But and I was Billboard reporter for like 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I did that shit. When I was in Breakin, I wasn't just a DJ. I was Billboard reporting, Zulu King, DJ at the #1 club in LA that was in the calendar, in the magazine. Like, that's how I got to the movie. It wasn't just, hey, you're a DJ, come be in my movie. No, we want that DJ in our movie.
Right, right.
It was cool. Very cool.
Now, I know you just mentioned Breakin, but I also know in that timeline, you were a DJ for a place called Club Radio. Kind of give us a timeline between Club Radio and then your entry into the Breakin movie and how that kind of led to be.
So I'm doing house parties and things now. It's like 82, and I've gotten really good at DJing. I got a rep and a name, and so in the neighborhoods and parks and groups like Uncle Jam Army, they know me. So 83 comes around, and I get a job at this club called Radio. It was weird to me, like, why is a nightclub called Radio? But it was always weird. But anyway, so Radio was a spot where we would rent equipment to. So I would rent equipment to get free equipment for my gigs. So I would go rent them. I worked for a rental company, and I go deliver it and install it for them to get my free stuff. So I was up. They asked me to go to this club Radio to give them the system. And my boy was like, they do that thing that you do with the records too, man. You might get a job there as a DJ. So he told them I was a DJ. So they came out after I finished installing the system and stuff. They were like, we heard you're a DJ. I said, yeah, man, I'm a DJ. What's your DJ name? I was like, DJ Chris. They said, we have a marquee. We want you to come DJ. Come in at 11. We'll have a name for you on the marquee. So I showed up at 11 p.m. It said 11 p.m. The Glove. So that's how I got my name too. So
wow,
yeah, it was in lights. So from there, I'm playing, and while I'm DJing, guy gets up on the stage and starts talking on the microphone. I'm thinking he's saying, you know, I'll get the drink special or movie car or some shit. And then he starts talking more, and then he starts talking to the rhythm of the thing I'm doing. I'm like, this cat's rapping. Mm-hmm. So then I keep the instrumental going. I cut to the drum breakdown. We going back and forth. It's Ice-T. He's on there busting. That's how I met Ice-T on stage. We were performing together. We didn't even know each other. So
he literally just jumps on the stage and just starts rapping over the music right at that point, right?
Well, I'm playing records and music, and he came up on stage and made some announcements over the music. Okay. Like, they hired him to be the MC. Only thing is, we both started the same night, and we didn't know that. He thought I had been there forever, and I thought he had been there forever. I heard him do an interview saying he met me. He didn't even know that was his first night. That was my first night.
Wow.
Yep.
History was made that night.
That was crazy, right?
Yeah, history. Wow.
So, you know, we're doing this thing. I come in at 11. We do that bit. It's like from 11 to 4, we doing that. Rappers, graffiti, cats is breakdancing, popping, battling. It's going down, right? Mm-hmm. So a Hollywood weird eclectic group started coming and hanging out. And, you know, you got your Michael Jackson and Jeffrey Daniel and Sting and, you know, Malcolm McLaren and producers and directors, and so this group starts coming. And so when those people start going, then it becomes a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the newspaper came and did a story about it. They did a story about us in what was back then the calendar section, which was probably 4 million readers. So next week, packed all around the corner. The line is insane. It was already crowded, but now it's bananas.
Wow.
So we're doing this every week. It's popping, right? So one of the days, a producer, one of the owners says, "Hey, man, they're going to do a movie about the club." I'm like, "What? Really?" "Yeah, it's going to be called something. The Club Radio is going to be the name of the club in the movie too." "Okay, cool." So, but producers met with all of us like beforehand or before the club or whatever night, and was like, "We want all this to be authentic, so we want you guys to be in the movie. Like, we want you to be the DJ, Ice, me, Ice." It was me and Ice, the dancers. You know what I mean? Individually, they did that, but with me and Ice, it was like, you guys play yourself. So we're working. So the movie is about our club. So we're on stage doing our thing for the movie. Well, lo and behold, the owner of the building doesn't know that the guys he leased it out to do a club have subleased it out for a movie. So he's like, "Y'all got to go." So that day, radio was ended. And so when they got so mad, they told him, "You can't use the name in the movie then." So my boy was painting the graffiti. He had painted a heart and a Tron. The movie Tron had come out, and it was hot. So everybody's on this Tron shit.
Mm-hmm.
So he just painted Tron. So it became Radiotron on the stage. They was like, "That's perfect." So that's how radio became Radiotron.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And, but it's the club that we were at. Everybody goes, "You should work at the Radiotron." No, that's the name of the club in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because there is no more radio. People think I'm crazy when I say that. So I just started letting them have it. Like, yeah. So you DJ at the Radiotron? Yep. Because that's why they said the Radiotron. They used to call it the radio. Mm-hmm. It was always the radio. It wasn't radio. It was the radio. We're going down to the radio. So they would say in the movie, "We're going down to the Radiotron."
Right.
You would have said, "We're going to Radiotron." See what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Right. And interesting enough, too, as well, with all that sounding like it's all unplanned, even the recording of the song for the movie was unplanned as well, correct?
Oh, so when we shot the film scenes in the movie, it was all kind of, I'm playing all kind of other shit. I'm playing all the records that I play normally. Mm-hmm. And we film it. But so what happened was, I'm DJing and cutting and all that. And so producers are talking one day in between shots, saying they were going to get Africa Bambaataa or whoever to do the music. I slid over there and was like, "Yo, I can do music. I'm the one who does the club. Who better?" Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Yeah." So I went on and they asked me to do the 2 scenes, mm-hmm. the trailer, and like 4 other pieces for the movie and other stuff. I got like music in the movie that's not on the soundtrack.
Right.
So it was kind of funny because after I did all that, they love it. Everything's cool. I've been paid the whole 9. They're like, "Hey, can you make a record with one of the pieces from one of the scenes, like with the talker on it?" That's Ice-T. He's talker, I'm scratcher. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, "Yeah, I could do that." So I make a beat. We break it down, Reckless. We turn this one thing into Reckless. I do some scratching and stuff, and then Ice comes. I call up Ice and say, "I want you to rap on this joint I got." And he says, "Okay, come." I pay him. He raps. And he gets down, and it's Reckless. He raps about me. So we get that. We put it on the soundtrack, and boom, everything, all the records on there together. We sold like 4 million copies.
Insane.
Yeah.
Can't make that shit up, right?
Couldn't have done it better myself. And then the movie was like 40 million. It was #1 for like weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was a hot time, man. That movie, that soundtrack, it was a great time, man.
At that same time, I was in the Shaka Khan I Feel For You video. I was a DJ, but it was just her and I. It wasn't like I'm in a club and there's thousands of people and I'm the DJ. It was just me and Shaka in front of a mural.
Yeah,
And
so
then
all those that don't know, you're gonna have to look that up. So we can go on record and say that the glove taught Shaka out of scratch, right?
damn right. Sure did. I put her hand on the record.
Yeah.
You can see that in the video.
Yeah, man. How cool is that, man? That's awesome.
It is very cool.
Yeah, your resume spans so wide, man. I know that you did, a couple of, you like the It Had Been Scratched, the Speech and Jam. You got some records that you kind of dropped in the mid to late '80s, but then you took a little bit of a break there for a while.
No, I never took a break. I was dropping those records as that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Tibetan Jam, Itchy Von Scratch, all
Yeah.
that, Reckless Combat, Go Off. All of those were tied in with that and Radio on the Record and the movies. But I was also making bootleg vinyl records, mixed records.
Oh, okay.
Victor in the Glove Break Mixer. I made more money with those than with them.
Wow.
So I made like 4 of the break mixers with Victor. And then we did this thing called Scratch Dance. And that was like Scratch Dance, every DJ. I've been running into people. I didn't know that it was this. I might have to make a movie about Scratch Dance. I didn't even know it was a fucking such a big, it's iconic.
Yeah.
And then what I did was we made it right here, same garage. And when we finished, we knew we had bootlegged all these songs and it was bad and we were pressing vinyl. So I said, let's call it the Pyramid Mix. So people think it's Egyptian Lover and not me. So if they ever go to him, he'll say, I don't know what you're talking about. And they'll be like, okay, it ain't you. Wonder who it is. So for years, it was a mystery as to who made it. Many years.
So like that was
20.
So that was intentional.
Yes, and it became like lore. Cats was trying to figure it out. Like it ain't Egypt, unless I don't even know if he was claiming it or not. But everybody knows that I made Scratch Dance. It's funny. And then we did etchings on the back too. It's a one-sided record. On the back is blank, but we did some graffiti like with razor blades.
Yeah, insane.
So those are the things I was doing when people didn't think I was making records. And then I'm still DJing.
Mm-hmm.
See, so DJing at clubs and parties and all that, I was making more money and being more famous doing that than any kind of producer. I was more popular and famous than all them dudes. Dre, we doing Uncle Jam Army at the sports arena like twice.
Yeah.
And we always at the Vets or we at on stage in Santa Monica Civic. Like these are stages, bro. We up in front of thousands, man. Man, I go DJ. My nightclub is 1,500 people on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Bro, we was like, what rap? That's a loss over there. You go be a rapper. It's like them disco DJs. They was like, I'm staying with disco. You go play that other stuff. But they lost. They was like pimps. They made money.
Yeah.
So, and then when I back to when I wanted to be a DJ, a movie called Thank God It's Friday did come out around that time after I'm starting to learn in. Like, yeah, this is what's up. But so the time it took me to become a DJ and be in a movie was about a year.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Like, and maybe a year, maybe I'll say 2 years max, but it wasn't 2 years.
Yeah, that's still very fast. That's fast, man.
It was fast.
Yeah, and in that time, you've touched on some very, very, very historic gems there. One being Uncle Jam's Army, which is an important staple of LA West Coast hip hop. The other being Ruthless Records.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done some things. Talk about your involvement with Ruthless Records at the time.
So I'm DJing at Paradise and I'm DJing on a lot of records, scratching on records. I work with Quincy Jones. I work with Weird Al Yankovic. I work with Bobby Brown, Los Salas Jr. I was like all over the place.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do like R&B. I didn't want to be a rapper or rap. Rap money was not good money.
Yeah.
R&B money was good money. So I put together a couple of groups. The first group didn't really gel, and the second group, it was 3 guys, and we made it kind of work. We became PBL, which is Poe Broken Lonely, and we were just getting it together, writing songs. It's about 89 now, and I met Dr. Dre, and so he signed my group to Ruthless. And I became a producer also with him. He needed somebody who could do everything he could do and or more. He could just come in and say, "Yeah, that's tight," and do what should be done. So the thing is, when you are a business, the first thing you need to do is double yourself. You need somebody who does exactly what you do to do it, so you can go do something else while they doing that. Mm-hmm. See what I mean? They call that an employee, but it's a person that you double. That's cares about it. The same, you sitting there, you know what I mean? Like if you got up, somebody would sit there and take over like it was theirs.
Right.
So that's what you try to do. So that's what he was doing with me. So I was like, well, you got to sign my group and blah, blah, blah. So that's how we got with Ruthless. And then funny thing is, I guess he was supposed to get paid a certain amount of money from Easy based upon the total of our contract. But he was thinking that our contract was like for, what was it? 375,000. Mm-hmm. I was like, bro, we get $250 per album.
Wow.
So he gave you half of a part that you were supposed to get off of 375. We got 750. That's half of that. Mm-hmm. So you got half of a half. So that night, we went and did Arsenio Hall for Michelet. And, Dre exercised his option right then, like, I'm not coming back. That shit was crazy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I was sitting there when he told Easy, I'm not working with you no more.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine you can cut that with a knife at that time.
Just like right now. It was like that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
A gang of people around, and it was noise everywhere, and that shit was like, yeah. Did I just hear that shit? And they was like, they had sat us down, and they had us mixed in with NWA, Mel Group, Paul Broken Lonely. It was PBL and NWA, but we were sitting kind of together, like who we liked or whatever, who we knew. And they was putting me up, my face, Dre, Mike Lynn, me, Easy, and Mike Lynn was NWA. I was like, bro, we are not NWA.
Yeah.
I would love to get that clip to see that. But anyway, so that's when Death Row was born, mm-hmm. which I was also on that one. But yeah, that's deep, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And your entry into Death Row kind of set the stamp for your work on The Chronic, which was one of the early productions on involving the Death Row crew, correct?
Yeah, we had been working on The Chronic before we became Death Row Records. Dre had been working on music for a solo album.
Okay.
So we were doing that. And actually, while we were working on that, before we even had a deal or a name, that's when we met Snoop at a bachelor party. Got up on the table, started rapping. It's like, he sounded like he from the country. He from Long Beach. Damn. For real? That was it.
Yeah.
He looked at me, I was like, he tight. He tight. Snoop was tight. Warren G and Nate Dogg was up there with him. They did their thing. Snoop was tight. And so we went on and, Death Row became a thing, and we recorded that Chronic album. I produced Stranded on Death Row and mixed the album. Worked on a lot of music on there, though. It is what it is. But yeah, man, it became a classic. And the cool thing I like is that, I hear producers and, DJs or whatever talk about how good they are, their chops, or they got hot beats or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And I go, for a while, from 1992 to like 2002, every time somebody went in the studio to work, they listened to the Chronic to make sure that they shit was close to it. Am I lying?
No bullshit.
So
yeah,
it's like when Shaq made the free throw wider. Like people don't realize they did that for Shaq. It's like you move the whole game and nobody knows. It's like all y'all think you bad, huh? But all y'all listen to my record first before you even started working on your shit. I inspire all of you with my boy. Me and my crew, we inspire y'all, period. So that's ours too. We take credit for that too. Because it wouldn't sound like it did if you didn't put it up against ours.
Right, absolutely. And I know
we made you better. You guys had to, oh no, we gotta, I remember Puff. Man, we gotta change ours. We gotta sound. They was on it. You know, everybody on it.
I know you're pretty serious about your mixing and engineering. If you don't mind talking about some of the equipment and the boards that you faithfully use or your go-tos there.
I'm a SSL only guy. I use solid state logic equipment board for as far as recording and mixing consoles because they got everything I need. I started on a 4000. That's what we did the Chronic on, and now I like the 9000K, and that's like my go-to. My favorite part of the SSL console is the mix bus area where they have a compressor. You know how to work that, you a badass. So I fuck with that compressor heavy. And then I got other tricks. But I would say this is what I will tell you. I have an album called Redshirt Freshman. In my bars, I give gear and mix tips. You got to buy my album if you want to know what to use. It's better than, a master class. Just buy the record. So check this out. You will clearly hear when I'm talking about gear. And if you write those lines all down individually from all the songs, it'll tell you how to mix a record.
That's what's up. I know that's right. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you too, man, because your experience and your diversity and your willingness to share. Because I drop in on you all the time and check out your lives, and you're just very in a sense very vulnerable because you lay it all out there. There's nothing to hide. I mean, you're pretty much you approach everything head first. And you tell it like it is. And that's one of the things that I appreciate about you. And I'm always dropping in because you give it to people straightforward. It's no bullshit. It is what it is,
And it's funny you say that because you say vulnerable and I think of it more of invincible because I'm bulletproof.
Gotcha.
What you gonna tell me? I mean,
right.
I respectfully don't care what you think. I love your brain and what you think, but I care. As everyone else does, they just don't say this shit, bro. They're not really. All of us are liars to self or others. I don't know. Yeah. But like people don't go, it's my universe. I don't really care about anything, but when you gotta eat, that's when that shit kicks in. When you gotta pee,
oh man.
So nothing matter but you peeing. You don't give a shit about the president. If you step in some dog shit, ain't nothing mattering. As long as you don't pee on yourself. That's the person there. That's the real guy. So I just choose to be that guy all the time. I always got to pee. I always got the water running. I left some fucking ice cream in the car. I got to go. But respectfully though, like I'm not dissing nobody and I listen to others' music and I will never give a negative critique on anything. I'll tell you how I feel about it and that's it.
Yeah, what are you listening to right now, man? What hits you right now that from other artists? Is there any favorite artists that you listen to or favorite albums or anything?
When I'm not listening to Redshirt Freshman, I have a number of so I'm gonna tell you. So like me and my friends, we make music. So right now, I'm into this new Snoop and Dre album that you haven't heard yet. Okay. You ain't gonna hear it till next year. Okay. That shit is hitting and it's dope because it's hella musical. You got some dope guests on it. I got about 8, 9 cuts. I'm on that.
That's gonna
Like
be hot.
I'm on some shit y'all are gonna be on. I'm not on nothing out there is unique or remarkable to me. It is just good or something I like or something I don't like. But this stuff we got that we keep, so we have a secret musical underground. We don't sell these records. We give them to each other. I'll tell you what, you might hear Jay-Z banging one in the bathroom, or you might hear LeBron James with it playing in the locker room while they're working out. They got the new Snoop or the new Drake, but they can't buy it and they no cameras and no recording while this music is on. You know what I mean? Type shit. We got kind of, I call it masterpiece theater. You know, we got songs that you ain't gonna hear ever unless you know certain people.
There it is. Man. And I know in the mix of that, man, you also did some music supervision on a lot of shows involving BET, and then talk a little bit about your entry into doing that as well.
So, in about 2001, well, from 1998, I had a brain surgery. So I decided to switch careers, get out of the real loud hip hop arena and get into the television music because I could do it and I didn't have to be in a big room. I could do it in this room where I was working with my NSTNs and get that shit knocked out. I really did it because I had this surgery. I wanted to give myself a boot camp, a musical boot camp. Like it's intense pressure working for television. Well, the gentleman I worked for, when I jumped on with him, he had about 9 shows. So, I mean, like the Parkers, Girlfriends, Moesha, shows you know. So I started doing music for the Parkers in like 2001. Right? Matter of fact, the day that the tower was at 9/11, 9/11 hit, like 2 days later is when I did my first session with them for television. And then that weekend I started doing the Parkers.
Wowzers.
So I think I did 5 years and it was on air for 6. Most people don't even know. So from there, I did like All of Us, One on One, Eve, Cuts. At one point on UPN, when the news went off in the daytime and the TV shows came on for like 4 to 10, when the news came back on, we had all the TV shows. All my music was on. Everybody else on the radio, I'm on the TV. And they didn't even know. Cats was like, thinking I'm just fell off or not doing nothing or something, bro. Then they look up and I got 1,100 songs in my catalog airing on television. Like, huh? Yeah, dude, I'm up. I like to. So you hear cats talk about chess and playing chess or not checkers. I move the lines. I don't worry about the pieces. I make the boxes appear where I want the piece to land. You understand what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I do that by having played like 3-dimensional chess, like you saw on Star Trek.
Yeah.
Because that shit's easy the other way. It's like I play 7 moves ahead. Y'all playing 3 moves ahead. I got the end. I'm in my end game over here. But like I used to like to play chess by calling out the plays, but I couldn't remember the entire board, so I had to stop. I could remember my moves, but I couldn't remember the other person's moves. I'm gonna build me a memory palace and do that though. I'm gonna start playing people chess on the phone, like King to R3 or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So, that's not right notation, but I'll use notations. So I as a being that kind of thinker, I like for the substance, like I'll be the person you buy the asphalt from. You know what I mean? Like, hang on, you got a street and it's painted and all that shit, but I'm the undercurrent of that. That's what I like to be. So, having said all of that, I forgot the question.
I forgot too, man.
Oh, you're supposed to have a format. Okay, so I got you.
It's all
so
good.
I'm leaning on you. No, but I'll tell you though.
Well, I think what I asked about you, you were talking about your foray into production and on the music supervision. You were talking about the shows that you worked on.
Right.
What
I
led to
forgot
that?
all about that.
Right. That's what led to that answer.
So back on the boat of television. Yeah, man. So that whole thing was like more of a boot camp first, and then it's so challenging. I mean,
yeah.
And the cool part is you're a part of someone else's thing. So in the music business, it's the music, our video, our time, our schedule. In the TV business, it's the TV show. Fuck your music. We'll get somebody else's. You ain't ready? Give me some more music. Where's your cousin's music? They'll put anybody's shit up in there, right? If you ain't ready, you got to be with it. Don't be ever late. 5 minutes early is late. Somebody else is trying to get your shit. Yeah. So you can't do that. So it's a whole lifestyle I learned dealing with television. I learned that there's a hierarchy of the seats in the recording studio, bro, including the couch.
And when you were doing all those shows, did you have a lot of stuff, a lot of songs and samples already laid out, or were you just doing them as they came? What was your work ethic when you were doing that?
I would have to make, so for the Parkers, I had to make 13 pieces of music, which wasn't hard. So I could do that. I always created, but when I got to I think it was one-on-one, she wanted 22 cues with alternates. That means double. So I used to have to make 44 pieces in 48 hours. So I was just creating it myself. I mean, you can't use samples. You got to clear samples and shit.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing like that with TV. You can't even sound close to somebody else's shit. Fuck a sample. Yeah. So, like if they're using a guitar, I'm using some spoons. You know what I mean? I'm completely away from what they're doing on that song. But I also am very good at what we call knockoffs. I can make a song sound like your song without sounding like your song.
Right.
So, that whole element got me able to the ability to get into music supervision itself and placing other songs. So placing other people's songs and clearances and all of that. Quick story, we cleared a song for a show I was doing with my homegirl Lisa on BET. It was Tiny and Toya. And Tiny's dad has Alzheimer's at this time. He remembered one song. I guess he had sung it at his wedding or to his wife. He didn't even remember his name all the time, but he remembered the words to the song. So the company I was working for doing these shows, they would have a knack for filming without clearance. Like they would record their show and then go clear the music later. And you can't do that because some stuff don't get cleared. Yeah. Then you got to go and react you got to pay $200,000 to redo that. I mean, it ain't like taking out a song. Oh, we can't clear that. Let's put another one. So I enjoyed that part of the business as far as clearing the songs and, chasing them down, the writers and everything. But that whole thing became a beast in itself, being music supervision. I did a lot of that. It was fun too. Yeah. I became a music editor too so we started where the music cuts to the beat and the camera is all rhythmic. That started with like me and my crew. Like the guys were cutting music, but not to visuals, or not to beat. They just cut and the beat will be off. Right. They would take the music and cut it to the visual. Right. So it'll be like something in your back. Oh yeah, we gonna go over here. You know what I mean? Like disjointed. So I would take that same scene, lay one piece over it, and make it smooth, and make the cuts pop on beat. We started doing that with like Hell Date, Tiny and Toya, Frankie and Neffy, Monica Still Standing. I did all those BET shows. What was that other one? It was Hell Date. It was Played by Fame. That show right there. I did like 120 episodes of that.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, so the music and television thing, I was doing that for a minute. I got music on all kind of network shows, all the way from King of Queens to Empire to you name it, bro. It's NCIS Los Angeles. You name a TV show, I got a song on it.
Right. Absolutely, man. Damn, that's tight. I love it. Now, I know you mentioned, late 90s, you had some surgery. Now, I want to touch upon going right in before that, your transition into Aftermath. Of course, you working with Dre all those years, Chronic, Doggy Style, all those great classic albums, which the plaques behind you prove it, right there. Talk about, I really want to touch upon this classic because it's one of my favorite joints. And I have to ask you about your work on Phone Tap, which is a classic banger still to this day, man.
Phone Tap. So when I don't transition, I'm a fully male. When I left Death Row. I quit. I left. It wasn't safe. So then I heard that Mike Lynn called me and said Drake got a new company. He didn't have a name. He just had a new company, and it was cool. So I waited, and I just tried to charge as much as I could that I thought. And he said, yeah. So I went over there. And, it was absolutely fantastic. When I got there, what I did was, I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. And now I realize why I love this TV show so much. I watched this show called Alias, right? Mm-hmm. So this girl, the star, she's a spy. So just a quick thing. She told the cat, she had a fiance, she told him that she was a spy. And then the company she worked for, they killed him. So they were going to kill her too. So she went and stole something that they needed, brought it back and said, here, I'm in. You know what I mean? And they left her alone and they let her be back in the shit, right? So when I left Death Row, some people died. There was a whole lot of ass whoopings going down during that time and all around that. And so I'm kind of I had to take music and hide it with a girlfriend, like tapes. She was telling me to this day, like, hey, remember when you brought those tapes to my apartment and so? I was like, yes, I do, because Suge and them didn't know where that was. Didn't even know you existed. So I, that whole thing was just, I left. It wasn't cool. But once I went to, so what I did was, my boy Mike called me and said, blah, 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 you want to do this? And he, I wanted to make sure I was going to get paid. So I went to the studio, rented out some studios and made a track. I made one track. Might have been two, but I remember for sure one. I made this track and I went and met with Dre and I played the track. And he was like, when you coming over here? And so I told him how much I wanted, this and that. That track became Fame, that he ended up producing with my boy Ruben. It was Fame on that compilation, which David Bowie ended up performing to my version of Fame before he died. Rest in peace.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's something for my feather in my hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was mad too. I was like, why we take my track and turn it into Fame? Oh, David Bowie singing it. Great.
Like, never mind.
It was like, bad shot, great shot.
Yeah, man, that's legendary, man. You can't ask for nothing better than that.
That's what Dr. Dre brings to the table. That's why I love that dude. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's one of the best to ever do it, man. Absolutely.
He's the best to ever do what I do.
Yeah, no doubt.
Nobody better than that what we do.
Now,
we do this so good we can do any kind of music.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what makes you guys resume so long and strong, man, because of the, in hip hop you can do R&B, you can do jazz, you can do pop. I mean, it's just across the board.
Man, we do classical, we do full on, man, bro. I do alien music, bro. It's like
and the shit sounds fresh. It sounds fresh. Pristine mastering, mixing. I mean, just awesome stuff, man.
We won't scare you away sonically, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the best, man. And I mean, still continue to do it to this day. which leads up to one of the few things I want to talk about, your current stuff. A couple of things, man. The Pimp Chronicles, and then also the Redshirt Freshman, couple of the current things you're talking about. I want to jump into your entry into finally deciding to do this after all these years, man. It's been a long time coming.
You know, shout out to Tony Hasbro. He came to me and said, "Hey, man, Mr. Glove, I want you to do like a vocal on this." And I was like, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
So then he got these dope writers. They wrote this joint. I got on it. I was like, "I like this," and so I got him to write me something else. And then he wrote something, and in the verse, it had some New York references like Def Jam, something, something. You know, everybody in the East Coast kind of writes those references for me being an OG. So I changed it to Death Row, Aftermath, you know, the shit I do. I put myself in it and I rewrote it, the second part of it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And I just really didn't think about that, right? It will still fly. So next song, I'm like, I want to do this song. I sent my boy the track, write the lyrics to this. So he wrote like for me and another dude, my other homie, he wrote like 2 parts and I wanted to do the song. I was like, okay, so I'm not gonna use that track. I'm gonna take this verse and put it on this track. So I learned that verse, and then I did a thing where it wasn't enough Spanish to me in it. So he had some parts in it, so I flipped it around and I wrote those parts, the Spanish parts that are in it. You know, it was a trip because I'm writing rap. I was still correcting, remember? Yeah. So I go to the second verse, and at the last 4 bars of that, I kind of changed all the way around because I wanted it to be more me. So now that's the second song I've done, right? And I'm like, okay. So the same song where I said, I'm gonna take this verse and put it over here, he had another verse. I put it on this song called No Confio. So No Confio, I rapped the verse that Big Crook did for me, Big Tony Hasbro's dope. And then I wrote the second verse. This is the first time I just wrote a verse. I was like, I wanted to start off, because me and Dre always do this. We say, man, make the verse start off like this, or start here, because we wanted to roll into the, the producer has that, you're a producer, you can kind of input that into your writer. Yeah. So I was like, I want to do this. So after I wrote that, I realized I had something I wanted to say. So my first thing I wrote, I said, I'm going to take some. So this is what I did. I'm not a rapper, right? So I'm like, damn, I want to write this. So I said, let me think of something. So I took a line. I did just like Jay-Z and them. I took a line from another rap that I like. So I go, so you want to be ballers, do tours with the #1 artist. That's me now. I just took the ballers, right? Ruby Rose, Kylie Yukas in the audience. Like Drake, empty stadium for all this. Chris Glove, friend to the stars. Ice-T, Doc Dre, Doggy Dog. Make mine, take time, study hard. Shoot love out daily to my niggas from afar. Yes, we move from island to island. Let's just start coming. I just had something to say. So I wrote that down. Now, my boy was with me, K-Mac. He was on me like, look, bro, you just stay cool and just talk. You ain't got to worry about bussing or none of that. Just get your voice where you want to be and say some shit. And that's all I do. I like to say that he would always tell me, get your Kid Frost on. Like when you want to get excited and go up, go down. So I just get my Kid Frost. I told Frost, I said, part of my style is off of you. I keep Kid Frost in my head when I'm rapping. So I can just go down like this. Yeah. It's cooler than going up like this. You know what I mean? So
that's one of the things that makes it so cool is your voice, man. It definitely stands out. I love it.
So you don't mind me rapping?
Not at all. Not at all.
Because the next part was to get the voice. So I had learned how to mix voices. I was making other people's voices that was raggedy sound good. So I was like, maybe I'm gonna just apply that to myself. Let me see if I can make myself like so I got the tweaking and turning. Yeah, now I know how to deliver it and record it and because I use auto-tune on everything.
So let me ask you a question. When you first started, writing was one thing, writing your own, your lyrics for yourself. And then when you finally hit that mic, and then when you finally got to sit down and tweak and hit those knobs, are you really hard on yourself when you're mixing your own vocals? Like I said, I know it's easy to do somebody else, but now you got to do yourself. 'Cause you can be really critical of yourself and not realize it.
I mean, some people can, but me, I just sit down there like it's another song to mix, and I make that shit. The whole point is to make it sound great. If I can make that voice sound great and it's me, then that's even better. But the thing too is, like, for instance, I get a compliment. So the thing that stood out to me in my life was a gentleman went to play my music for a guy who was a producer, uh, had a studio and all that. So you can still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So he played the songs that we worked on. And he was asking everybody who was saying they like him, they like him. And the guy who on the spot was just looking. And my buddy was like, "What's up?" He was like, "Man, I never heard my speakers sound that good before, bro." I make other people's speakers sound better than they ever heard them.
That's all the mesh of the console and the man behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Indeed. So once you started, it was like you said, you had something to say. The flow just kept going. It just kind of grew from that point.
Yeah, my boy was like, "Keep it coming." And I was like, "Shit, all right, so he shot me some tracks that I like. So I produced all the songs, but he did the music to a couple to like 5 of my things, like dope ass beats. And then I came in and did my thing on them. So that's how I turn it on out. So he's telling me, "Hey man, you sound this way, sound that way." He's not trying too hard to, produce me or tell me anything.
Yeah.
But because I'm my own producer, like I produce rappers, I know how to rap. I know how to produce a rapper. Yeah. So he was letting me be me, and he said, "Man, he used to just tell me, man, you a rapper, bro. You getting your word out. You know what you're trying to say. There it is. It sound good. It don't sound." A lot of people was like, "Oh, I'll tell them I rap and I'm 60," and they expect me to say, "What? Take it to the dude. Drill." You know what I'm saying? They expect that. Like if you 60 and you go out there and play basketball, they expecting you to shoot a set shot. They're not expecting you to come and dunk on them 360 reverse left-handed. You know what I mean? They're like, damn. I remember a young lady saw me and she said, "You dress young?" And I was like, I could have sworn the dude who these Michael Jordans are made after is my age.
Yeah.
Like these are his shoes. These ain't, you guys just wear them.
Yeah.
This nigga, they made them for him. A guy my age, you trying to dress old, telling me I'm trying to be young in my athleisure. I get a kick out of that because the young kids, they just think it's about them. They don't know that there's a world. And the other part is, I love the fact that, now check this out. Young people tend to think that, like I hear this whole hip hop is a young man's game. Those dudes don't even know how to work the equipment, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so true.
That's like saying basketball is a young man's game, but they don't know how to dribble.
So true.
They think they're doing something, but they doing some shit wrong.
Right.
And they made up these things and then try to make it dope. I'll work in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? This shit here ain't, I'm not blah, blah, blah. It's always, but
and it's not going to be good, and it's not going to be good quality either.
Well, each age group believes that they're the God's gift to everything.
Of course,
including us. But we still here though.
Yeah,
we still gotta get to everything. Y'all gotta wait for us to be gone to take over.
Right.
See? That's the thing. Like, ain't none of these new dudes a Dr. Dre. Ain't none of these new dudes, even a Chris the Glove, these guys that are these producers and all of that. They're definitely not us.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're them though, which is great. And after some time, they'll be in a position we're in now, older, and then there'll be some guys telling them they ain't shit.
Right. That's the cycle of life, right?
Yeah, man, but they fucking with the wrong ones over here. You telling us we ain't shit, but everything you learned from us.
Yeah, absolutely. They take a little bit of everything from the OGs.
And the trick is, that's like, do you think I taught you everything I know? I taught you everything you know.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's all good, man. You know, it's a life, bro.
Yeah. Now, were you working on the Pimp Chronicles and then also the Redshirt Freshman at the same time? All those songs at the same recording and writing at the same time?
Well, what happened was Pimp Chronicles is a television series that I'm working on and developing. And I wrote these songs for that soundtrack. When I first started rapping, that's what I was rapping for, Pimp Chronicles. And then I also have a soundtrack for my graphic novel that's kind of more excitable and got violence in it and stuff. So I got some other stuff that I have been writing for that. I've been working on those two projects. And then I just kind of, Redshirt Freshman just kind of fell out of both of those.
Okay. And the Redshirt Freshman album, our viewers, when they get that album, they get a package when they get that album, correct?
Well, what happens is my album is what I call a forever album. When you buy my record, you will get all the songs that I'm ever going to make as I release them. You don't have to buy anything new. But my price is not cheap. Now, the price goes up as I add songs, or even the threat of adding songs, or even promoting. Let's say I'm on tour with Snoop, price go up. You know what I mean? Because it's a twofold thing I'm doing. Number one is because I believe that there should be people who know new music should be rewarded. So you should be able to get it. People always, you turn somebody on to something, right? They like, oh, this is the shit. They done forgot you turned them on to it.
Yeah.
And they like telling all their friends, and you like, man, shut up, you don't know nothing about this. So now with my model, you take all that right to the chin, and then say, well, how much you pay for that? Man, I paid $250. Be like, yeah, I got that for $60. Whoa, you just got his ass. Matter of fact, you can say, wait, you about to buy that? I'll sell you mine for $240. And then I'll give you another one for free.
Yeah.
So that's one part of the model. The other part is when you purchase it, you get access to all my shows.
Absolutely. Super dope. I love it.
Yeah, you don't have to buy no more tickets. Just buy popcorn and shit or drinks.
That's heard that. Yeah.
So that's how I'm working it. I believe in building a team and a community. Our tour might be like a fucking carnival where everybody that we all go set up and everybody comes to all the cities. We keep the same group. We just keep popping up in different towns.
Yeah.
We all go on tour.
Yeah, I heard that.
So that's what I'm trying to build, a whole new kind of music thing.
Yeah, and that's another one of the things I dig too, man. As I mentioned earlier, man, you're an entrepreneur, so you have your ideas of, like you said, building. You're always willing to share, talk about, expand, get bigger and bigger and grow, and you're willing to share that information with so many people. In the future, is there anybody that you have not worked with, whether it be hip hop, R&B, whatever genre? Is there anyone that you have not worked with that you may want to or want to probably get with in the future?
The way most of my artists that I work with are new artists that we develop, like Snoop and Dre and all that. So I like to develop as opposed to I've produced all the people I would like to have produced that are living. Okay. I'll say that. If something comes along, then I may add another person. But yeah, I'm pretty much not for hire either. Yeah. I mean, I'm working on my projects and I'm helping people and I'm mentoring, but that's also not going to be free either anymore. Because I feel like people will appreciate, like, and all this good shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you know, they got $1 million worth of game. They charging for their podcast.
Yeah.
The dude's getting paid, and they giving up game.
Right.
That's why cats listen to it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
What do you feel like is missing in a lot of today's production, as far as like compared to when you guys did like the Chronic and a lot of those classic album, Doggy Style, those classics album back then? You know, like sonically, I know you guys, like you said, ruled pretty much the '90s. Everybody kind of followed that blueprint. But today, you know, today's world, R&B, whatever, what do you think is missing production wise?
I don't find anything missing or lacking in today's music or whatever. I just, you know, I like, man, look, when I was making music in the beginning, I didn't like all that shit either, bro.
Yeah.
It was like, if 10 records came out, I like one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it was just how I go, man. And people act like now it's like because a person drops an album or playlist, you gotta like all the songs on there.
Yeah.
I like one song. If I like one song on an album, I would buy the album. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you hopefully will get another song and have two that you like for your whatever you pay. But no, I feel like music is whatever it is. You know, it's there's some things that I love that are new, some things that I think are shit. But I mean, respectfully, not like my cup of tea. Let me take that back because I don't really think anything is shit. And a lot of music, you got to give music a chance anyway. You can't just listen to it once and go, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a DJ, bro. What if I did that? Like, I didn't like More Bounce to the Ounce or some shit. Ah, that's whack.
Yeah.
And now everybody's playing it everywhere. Like, you're a dummy. You know, you gotta give it a chance of, you know, let it breathe. Let these young kids do what they do, bro. I remember when I was doing this hip hop, they was on us like, you breaking my record player, you doing this, so I'm not gonna sweat these dudes, man. Something I learned. I'm not passing that shit on. Hey, I got abused, I'm not going to be an abuser. You guys make your music, do it, work in your bedroom, do what you want. Call me when you want to sound right.
Yeah.
I'll show you the tricks. There's lots of tricks that you don't know. They're not mixing, not mastering. It's shit I can show you. Move this to the left. Okay, now what? Oh my God. It sounds amazing. Yeah, I know. You had this thing in the some people. So I like to say that what I know is like equated to steps on a ladder.
Yeah.
If we stand on a ladder, I'm up higher on the ladder. I can see further down. You see, you can only see this far because it's a mountain. But I'm up here. I can see over the mountain into the next city. I'm saying there's water there. You're like, ain't no damn water. It's dirt. I'm telling you, it's water. There's no water. All you see is dirt. You being the other person that's lower down.
Yeah.
So if you come up here, you got to elevate before you can see, you know, so that also comes with experience, and that seems to come with time/age.
Yeah.
So I knew a lot when I was 29 and hot shot, but we proved it with record sales. We was hot shots.
Yeah.
We still hot shots. We just don't sell records no more.
Right. Still hot shots, man. Absolutely. And like I said, the resume proves it, man. You got the ammo to show, man. This is me. This is my background. You know,
I appreciate you.
Yeah. On that note, man, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to as well, man?
I need to shout out my mommy manager, Melanie.
Yeah.
And then I want to shout out the homies, my boy that produced it with me, came back on the beat, my boy C Major, Mr. Sweets, my company Sweets_CA on Instagram. We have a cannabis blunt, tobacco free, that we have on the market in 8 flavors. And also shout out to my boy. I got a couple of really good people in my life right now, man. I want to say thank you to my boy Chase, who we kind of getting into this music and film thing a little tighter, and my boy Jerry K, who I'm starting a podcast with. These are new entries into the universe of Chris the Glove that are daily. And we're going to do so much shit you guys don't even understand what's happening here. Shout out to my boy Mark and the Pop Brothers at Law. And anybody I forgot, I wasn't thinking about you. You know I love all y'all. You know I'm tripping.
Absolutely, man. And also, man, I know you mentioned sweets, which is awesome, man. I've had the opportunity to try some of that.
Yes, sir.
But if you don't mind telling people also where they can get Redshirt Freshman and all your future projects going forward, and also where they can find you if they want to look for you as well, if you get all your handles.
Yes, sir. So I'm on Instagram, chrisglove.ai or Chris the Glove. And you can contact me there. I'm active on Instagram. My album is actually being sold directly through either Instagram messaging, or you direct message me, you buy it through Zelle or Cash App. I send you the files, and it comes with the artwork and everything. You can add it to your Apple Music or whatever you listen to. It's easy. And when I update new songs, they come, when you purchase, you have to leave your email. So I have to song, I'll also it's like a playlist. So, and it's, if you lose it, we'll replace it. A buddy of mine said, "Oh, I lost my downloads. I don't know what to do. I got to buy it again. Now it's $60 and I paid 20. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. It ain't no record company. It's me."
Yeah.
So DM, or you can hit me at glove@gmail.com. No. That one's wrong. Don't delete that. You can hit me at, just Instagram right now, man, because I don't want to sell it on a website because they can bring you down.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you could be on the website, the next thing you know, your sales ain't happening. But if you hit me and I can send it to you, it's like dealing dope. So you got to hit me to buy. You got to know if you got my album, you have probably spoke to me.
Yes.
I'm trying to sell access and contact. You know what I mean? Not just music. Hey, man, I know a guy, Chris the Glove. Let me see if I can, and I'll tell you some shit. Like, and you're a subscriber, you got my album, you can ask me a question. You get me.
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing. It's community and getting everybody together. We're also doing some trainings for new job types of placements for production assistants and even bud tenders as well. So we got some things coming up in the works. But you can also find me on Twitter at Chris the Glove. Yeah, bro, we got a paid training that we're doing for PAs. It's $250, 1 day training, and you get put on a job list. You'll probably get a job within a week.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for sharing that information. That's super dope.
Yeah, you got it, man. Hit me up, man. You can DM me, like I said, Twitter also. But Instagram is where I'm at. I'm gonna just use that like my webpage.
For sure, absolutely. Well, brother, I appreciate you stopping by. Man. And once again, to my viewers, the legendary DJ, producer, multi-talented engineer, entrepreneur. He's all that. And he stopped by to pay us a visit and share his stories and his history. And I'm so proud to have him on. And I want to thank you for stopping by and giving us your time, man. Appreciate you.
You're welcome, man.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you and the flowers, bro.
No problem at all. And once again, my viewers, Digital Soul Presents, Chris the Glove Taylor was in the house with us. Thank you for viewing. Stop by again on the next go round. Peace.
Peace.